Good evening. The mother of a 27-year-old artist murdered in Logan says her daughter tried to get help, but it didn't work. She says Djuarn Baker-Adams was failed by the system and is now the fourth Queensland woman to die in 45 days.
She was 27 with dreams, aspirations. Now Djuarn Baker-Adams lives only through memories.
She's gone forever now. At the hands of somebody else that had no right to do that to her.
A mother's anguish, remembering the baby girl who grew into an artist and a proud Indigenous woman, always striving to help youth.
She was such a beautiful person. She had a lot of friends, loved by so many, and she's going to be missed.
Djuarn was allegedly killed by her rapper ex-partner Ronald Cora days after she went to the police, fearing for her safety.
I feel like the system has failed her. She tried to get help and it just didn't work. It wasn't enough.
She's the fourth Queensland woman allegedly murdered by a partner or ex in 45 days. 5 of the state's biggest DV service providers were today standing behind Minister Amanda Cam as she unveiled $3.3 million to cut victim assessment times.
A small part of the picture in improving our system's response.
Shorten our waiting list so every time someone calls, we pick up.
In a 45-minute press conference, the Minister failed to answer how many recommendations of a Women's Safety Justice Task Force have actually been implemented, including a register for convicted high-risk DV perpetrators.
We are calmly and methodically working through all of the recommendations.
Not only is Amanda Cam the Minister responsible for preventing domestic violence, but families, seniors, disability services and child safety. Critics have reiterated calls to split her big portfolio.
She needs to be concentrating on domestic and family violence and how we can make change to prevent these deaths.
Deaths tonight striking to the heart of another family now in a fight for answers.
It's about justice for her now. She's not going to be forgotten. No way.
What can you say to that poor family? Garth Burley joins me in the studio now. Garth, Amanda Cam is defending more cuts to child safety.
Yeah, Max, the Minister says she makes no apologies for axing the My Life in Care survey, which vulnerable children have used since 2022 to share their experiences in state care. Amanda Cam claims children were being bribed to complete the questionnaire, and that reflected a rosy picture of a system that was in fact broken. The most recent result from 2024 showed 2/3 of children in care were happy. The Minister says her main goal is to lower the number of children in residential care. Max, she has a few big jobs on her hand.
I'll say. All right, thanks for that, Garth. And if you're in a domestic violence situation, DV Connect can help on 1800 811 811. 7 children, including a 14-year-old girl, have been charged with murder over an alleged carjacking and assault in Kelvin Grove. Rachel Baxter is at the scene. Rachel, they're accused of killing a man almost twice their age.
Yeah, that's right, Max. Good evening to you. It's alleged the group of teens assaulted a 27-year-old man here on Victoria Park Road in Kelvin Grove almost 3 weeks ago on July 24. They're accused of stealing his car and then dragging him along the road with his own vehicle. He was taken to hospital but sadly passed away on August 6th. Those 7 teenagers were charged with murder today, and they include a 17-year-old Kelvin Grove boy, 3 16-year-olds, a 15-year-old from Callum Vale, a 15-year-old Holland Park girl and a 14-year-old from Kelvin Grove. Now, police have also released these images of vehicles that were in the area at the time. They're hoping one of these witnesses may be able to provide some more light on this case. But Max, these 7 children will face Brisbane Children's Court tomorrow.
Rachel Baxter at Kelvin Grove. To breaking news now, a jury has just found former Bishop of Broome, Christopher Saunders, guilty of sexual assault. The Perth jury took 7 hours of deliberations to find him guilty on 12 counts. Chief reporter Chris Reason, who originally broke this story, has our coverage.
His fall from grace complete. Christopher Saunders, 45 years a priest, 25 years a bishop, the rest of his life a convicted sex offender.
Mr. Saunders, do you have anything to say about the trial?
A pivotal moment that will rock the Catholic Church. Saunders now officially the highest-ranked Catholic in history, guilty of sex crimes.
Oh, my God.
For the whistleblowers who launched this case,
I couldn't be more thrilled. It's a disgrace and it's a shame on the Catholic Church.
Finally, justice is being served for all those young men.
the 76-year-old former Bishop of Broome, guilty of 12 counts of indecent assault, 1 of sexual penetration. But he'd always refused the confession.
Without any reservation, that has never happened.
That was after 7 News broke the allegations 6 years ago that he was under investigation for historical sex crimes.
The Aboriginal people in the Kimberley, those young men deserve more.
His own priests had turned whistleblowers, coming to 7 News after the church refused to act and police inquiries stalled. The bishop's own secretary spoke out.
I think of all these young men whose lives have been affected.
His case went all the way to the Pope, who ordered his own Vatican investigation, the first ever in Australia, producing an explosive report that was leaked.
It's 200 pages long and damning. The Vatican has a copy, so too does 7 News.
It called Saunders a sexual predator, possibly grooming up to 67 vulnerable young Aboriginal men. A year later, 2024, police swooped.
Bishop Saunders, did you ever think that it would end up like this? Excuse guys.
In total, 19 charges, 3 victims over 11 years.
Bishop, how was your night in the cells, in the police cells, Bishop?
They fought the charges as vigorously as they did our reporters.
Your safety.
Police taking the unprecedented step of installing hidden cameras in the bishop's home. The court heard one young man was groomed from age 16. Offences escalating from touching to kissing, naked wrestling, penetrative sex, fuelled by an endless supply of church-funded alcohol, cigarettes and cash.
I also think they should excommunicate him from the Catholic Church.
Until it's done, I'm going to call on every Catholic not to put money in the plate.
The jury disagreed. He'll be sentenced at a later date, with the case now headed to Rome, the Pope, to consider his verdict too. Chris Reason, 7 News.
Most aren't old enough to vote, but it didn't stop thousands of school students ditching the classroom to protest against Pauline Hanson. The One Nation leader says the children have it all wrong and should be rallying against a bigger issue.
Across the country, students on strike. United by one target, Pauline Hanson and One Nation.
Even though the teachers are saying no, it's just it really shows that all the Australian students have their mind in the right place.
Outside Sydney's town hall, this girl's message was clear, even if the spelling wasn't.